Hello, we're live. Mover mailbag time. It's been a minute. Hopefully, this works. I hope you're all having a great week, as always. And I hope you're not all too mad at me for Top Gun Maverick because apparently it's just a movie. No one told me that, but it is, in fact, just a movie. I don't think people understand my sense of humor. I really don't. But today, it's been a while, so we're going to go over your. Don't have any physical mail, at least not that I know of. I didn't check. So I probably should have done that. But I wanted to go over, catch up on some of your emails and also answer some of your questions from the chat. And that's it. Maybe take a break from Top Gun. Although, let's talk channel notes because we got a couple things that are coming up. So Top Gun Maverick Part 4 will be out of copyright jail tomorrow. So that'll be a new wave of triggering, which is awesome. I also went out and got some drone footage of the old AT4, which will be part of. Isn't that a good look? I like it. I really like that thing. It will be part of a 6.9 minute review that I'm going to do at some point in the coming days, weeks, months, whatever. And on the other channel, I'm going to do a gear review, but that's the only thing that's probably going to go on the other channel, my body armor that I wear. And then maybe some gun stuff and some more breakdowns and some more Mover Rooms movies and all kind of stuff. So that's what I have to say about that. There's an echo in my video. Why would there be an echo? That's just the one guy. Okay. The one guy's having echo problems. All right, so let's go to your emails, and then I'll take a look at the old chat. So this first one comes from Nicholas. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm a UH-60 crew chief currently deployed in the Middle East with the Army National Guard. Upon deployment, I would like to switch to become a fighter pilot with the Air National Guard. Do you have any advice for someone in my position? Well within the age limits, a college graduate. Will be completing my PPL shortly after returning from deployment. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day. I think you're doing everything great. I mean, that's perfect. Get your PPL. You're a competitive applicant. The thing is, make sure your GPA is good. Make sure you do well on the AFOQT and have a high PCSM score. But at the end of the day, when you rush these units, be yourself. I mean, you've obviously you've got combat experience, just be a normal dude. They're looking for someone that they can deploy with. You've already shown that with your resume. Now it's just a matter of making sure you're a good fit. So just be yourself. That's it. You already know the Guard lifestyle. It's a little different in the Air National Guard than the Army Guard, but I think you're going to be good to go. But good luck. Apply to many positions though. Don't just do one. Like any fighter unit that's applying, I would do that. All right, this one comes from Lance. Keeping in line with the subject, short and sweet within reason, I have one question and one comment. Thank you for all you've done related to voicing, promoting, and embodying the Make Them Tell You No culture. I missed my shot, but when a friend was deciding on her future path, Make Them Tell You No helped her gain clarity. She's currently enlisted in the Air Force as a KC-135 crew chief. While she's deciding if the Air Force is her thing, because those officers have way too much responsibility, she's looking into building more hours and at least becoming a private pilot. From there, she doesn't have a plan yet. In any case, thank you. There's a much longer story here, but I'll save it for another time. My question. Let's see, where I just lost it now. So this is actually about a get-together, which is probably not a mailbag-related question. So disregard this one. I'd also like to share, this part is, though, a little bit about Make Them Tell You No moment from 1988 where my 18-year-old ego scoffed at, but you fly the A7, I don't want to fly A7s. Yes, laugh out loud, laugh robustly. Later that year, I moved to Silicon Valley, took on multiple pathways and band only to turn down a record deal. Again, that ego of mine, shortcoming for a while, earned as a nozzle jockey at 3 airports and pilot training, settling a career in tech. Okay. So this probably wasn't the best for mover mailbag. I apologize on that. But I mean, it is a kind of a question. So people are like, hey, you know, I'm passing through a meetup and stuff. It just depends on schedules, what's going on. I don't really do meetups. I haven't. Like I did book signings way back in the day and then never did another one after that because nobody showed up. There is someone pitched the idea or toyed with the idea of maybe doing helicopter tours. I don't know if people would be interested in something like that. Like if they came down, there's a company that does it that's like, hey, maybe you fly and do that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know, because that could be kind of a cool idea of doing that. But there's no real established way, you know, of meetups and get-togethers and all that stuff. So I should be better at that. Anyway, here we go. Back to the why is Zachariah. Look, dude, you need to calm yourself with all the F's in the chat. We don't need all the F's in the chat. How's the helicopter flying going? It's not. Period. The aircraft engine was oversped on startup, and it has been down for maintenance for over 2 months now, and I think maybe in November. By the way, if you're watching this on Twitch, hello. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. Probably we'll do some more DCS stuff. Gonky and I are planning on doing another DCS video, Hornet versus Viper. It's just a matter of finding schedule time that matches. Hello from Bowling Green, Corvette territory. Yes, I did the museum delivery on my Corvette, which I love that car greatly. Just went to the Reno Air Races. What an amazing experience. It's so much motivation. It's so tragic to hear about the L-29 crash. That's very, very, very sad. Fur babies are good. Sniper may have cancer again. We're not 100% sure. They did some x-rays and found some nodes. If you remember back in 2020, was it 2020 or 2021? I don't remember. The years blend together at this point, but they had found a tumor. We had that removed. We thought he was good to go, but it turns out maybe not. So we'll find out in the coming weeks. Between the Hornet and the Viper, which one do you prefer? The one I'm flying at the moment. I love them both. Viper will always be my first love, but you know I love flying the Hornet too for different reasons. Let's see here. Yeah, I was there on the Reno crashes. Which witnessed the jet crash. How do you get over that? You talk to somebody. You go talk to somebody. I mean, that's really what you have to do. You're going to have to go talk to somebody because that is something that's tough to see. It's tough to watch. It's tough to know about. And it's not something you want to bottle up inside because you don't want it to manifest itself at some other point in your life or career. So definitely something you want to, you know, go talk to somebody about because it's very, very sad. He did die living his dream, but nobody really wants to die living their dream, right? I mean, you know, I don't think that was something that was a desirable outcome, unfortunately. Just very, very sad. All right, back to the letters, emails. We did that short and sweet. Advice for soon to be a pilot. How's it going? I'm a firstie at the Air Force Academy. Just dropped 92 T0. Is it O? I don't know. For being a pilot. I was just wondering if you had any advice for somebody who wants to drop T-38s in pilot training and end up flying fighters one day. Mainly how to excel in flying portion of UPT. Boy, if there were easy advice for that. Humble, credible, approachable works at any point in your career. So be humble, be credible. So know the aircraft, know the boldface, know the systems, know everything about that aircraft that you can study, and then be approachable. Help your bros, boys and girls, help your classmates. Don't be that guy that your only goal is to be number one and get T-38s and be a fighter pilot, because that is the quickest way to not become a fighter pilot. Because they're looking at that, right? Are you a team player? You know, do you have the right attitude? So just the more you can learn and teach and help your classmates, the better you will be. And then when it comes to the jet, you know, chair fly, and then also accept criticism. You know, be open to the debrief. Be open to what did I do wrong? How can I make myself better? How can I get better on the next sortie? Have a good attitude, because the good attitude is what gets you far. You know, don't beat yourself up over a bad sortie. Compartmentalize it, throw it away, focus on what's next. Don't Like, don't let one bad thing at the beginning of a sortie ruin the whole thing, and I think that's probably the best advice I can give for something like that. But have fun. Pilot training is a good time. Pilot training is a real good time. I mean, I look back fondly on, the friends that I made, the flying that we did, the cool things that we got to do. I really think it's a good time. And I think you don't worry so much about the end state. Just be present in the moment and enjoy it. And then you'll do great. That's it. All right, here we go. This is a video, BFM on TikTok, thoughts. And it's a T-38 video. I'm not going to download it. I think it's Inject guy. Okay. It's cool. I mean, BFM videos on TikTok are cool. TikTok is cancer, personally, is what I think. I think there's, it's a Chinese spyware app, and that is not really up for debate. That's factual. I'm not a huge fan of TikTok. That's it. So I don't really have much to say beyond that. Yep, there was a scammer using my name. So we're going back. Text me on Telegram. I posted this on the community. Thanks for watching. Message me right away. I have something for you. That will never be me, because I do not want people messaging me. So rest assured, I have nothing for you. I don't want you to contact me to find out what I have for you. I don't know what Telegram is, and I don't care. So you see that? It's not me. Report it. It's spam. If my name doesn't have a check mark by it, it's not me. Cool. All right. This one, there's umlauts in the name. I just discovered your channel. In the past, I see a video about a 50-year-old stand-up comic that can do an F-18 tour with the Blue Angels and did 7.4 G. What's a standard G that a non-trained person can do without G-lock? I'm going to give you the fighter pilot answer of it depends. It's all about resting tolerance, technique, whether you can G-strain, because when they're doing a backseat ride, we give them the 6.9 second brief on here's how you G-strain, anti-G-strainer maneuver. Here's how you do that, which I found was interesting. It's almost worth its own video. I've heard like Miles Teller and some of those people who talked about Top Gun Maverick, the G-strain they got, and the G-strain that seems to be more mainstream that people think about is the Hick maneuver. And that's what the Navy used to teach. And I think it's L1, M1, very old. The Air Force doesn't teach that anymore. In fact, they've never taught it my entire career. So like when you see Miles Teller on, the talk shows talking about the hick, we don't do that. Probably because of different aircraft, the F-16, we had pressure breathing under G. So it actually would feed air through your mask. When you were pulling 9Gs, it actually inflate the helmet too to get the mask closer to your face, better seal. So the idea when you're doing a G-strain is a 3-second air exchange. So your lungs are inflated and you're just real quick just to get, a breath. But you're trying to keep your lungs inflated, because that's the thing when you're pulling 9Gs, it's like an elephant standing on your chest. Once you let the air out, it's very hard to breathe again. It's very hard to get that air back in. So it's just quick air exchanges to kind of keep your lungs inflated. So that's why we don't do the hick thing, because that's a little outdated. But that's really not even the most important part. Breathing is important, especially if it's a long term, you're pulling 9Gs for a while. But really it's your legs, your core, your legs, quads, all of the trunk muscles, trying to keep that blood from pooling at your feet. So what a somebody who can't do it at all, well, it depends, because we do in the Centrifuge, we do a ride where they say, hey, don't pull G's, which by the way, which don't do G-strain, which by the way, here's my advice to those of you that are going to go to the Centrifuge, and this is probably going to piss off the aerospace physiologist, but the best advice I ever got in my military career is that whenever there's an opportunity where they're like, hey, why don't you find out? This is not a competition. So don't push yourself too far just to see how high your number can be. And by that, I mean the chamber or the Centrifuge. If you're in the fuge and you're like, oh, I want to see what my resting tolerance is, don't push yourself to the point that you G-lock, because you still have to do the 9G profile, and it's going to suck after you've G-locked. In fact, you might not even be able to go do it. So when I did it, I was like, okay, my resting tolerance is 4 or 5 Gs, whatever. And yeah, you probably could have gone a little bit more, but at what cost? So just know your limits. Don't get this big ego to try to push yourself and all that stuff. Um, Same thing with the chamber, right? Because they say, hey, when you get your hypoxia symptoms, go ahead and gang load the regulator and all that stuff. But don't push yourself to the point that you start acting stupid, because there's nothing that's going to make your day a lot longer faster than doing something like that. So it's not a competition. Just see the effects, move on to the next thing. Don't try to push it too far. To answer that question, though, 4 or 5 Gs, it depends. It really depends. I mean, I've had incentive flyers in the back that could take 9 Gs over and over and over and over and over to the point that I was like, okay, dude, we're going home. And some that were like at 5 Gs that were just like, I'm done. It just depends on the person, body composition, short, athletic, stocky. Those usually do a little bit better. Taller people have a little bit more trouble, but the ATAG is a game changer. I've never flown with it, but I've heard, good things about it. I got an email while we're sitting here. Here we go. Greetings. I'm civilian based in Canada. I'm great interest in aviation. Want to be a fighter pilot. My main question is, what do you think would be a better choice? A, stay in Canada, enlist in the RCAF and fly out of air bases, or B, move to the United States, gain citizenship, and join the Navy. Stay in Canada, fly for your country. It's not about just flying jets. It's about serving your country. Unless you really just don't want to be Canadian anymore, go serve your country. That's it. It's not a flying club. Serve your country. Also, going the route of getting citizenship is a long process. You might age out before you ever get to the point where you're even qualified to do it. So I think your best bet is staying in your own country, serving your country honorably. And that's, my opinion only. We've answered this question before, and people are like, well, you it's not really fair. I'm like, well, I think it's service first is the very first step of this. And then it's because what happens when you don't, right? So what happens if he gets his citizenship, goes to the Navy, either, I just had an email from a guy that said he got all the way through the process and then was medically disqualified because of measurements, right? The anthropometric measurements. He was too tall, or his spine, I don't know, he had something. But my point is, he got all the way through that process, and then they were like, nope, dude, you can't fly. Now what? Well, you don't want to get there and still have to be in the military, because you've already gone through OCS or whatever. It's better to be able to say, okay, I get it. I'm not going to fly. That's not for me, but I'm still going to be able to serve my country honorably. That's that. All right, back to the chat. Oh boy, I've lost a few here. Let's see. Do you regret trading in the Hellcat? Not even a little bit. I regret not doing it sooner. I love the AT4. Love it. Love it. Love the Yukon. Did not like the Hellcat all that much. It wasn't for me. What do you think about Sukhoi just built 4 new felons? I'm surprised. I don't disagree with that. I'm just surprised they can, given that they're fighting a war, and not very well. To this day, I have no idea why people readopt Zoom and TikTok after the incidents they have. Not just that, but man, TikTok, and I know Instagram Reels are the same, and the Facebook thing, and now the shorts and all that stuff. It's just like, it's people lip syncing and dancing. Like, really? That's your thing? You just lip sync to other people's stuff? Like, what? Come on, do something original. I do not have an OnlyFans. That is correct. My feet are not worthy of your money. Where do you buy your shirts? These Folds of Honor shirts were given to me, but when you donate, you get a Folds of Honor shirt as well. What would you have done if you were the main character in Stealth? I would have stopped at the waterfall scene, and that would have just been the whole movie right there. Crap, I don't know what he's asking. What do we use then? You're going to have to ask that question again, because whatever. See, I appreciate that. And that's the thing with that Top Gun videos. People were like, well, lighten up, you gotta, like, dude, I am. Like, I'm laughing the whole time. Gonky's laughing. Like, it's all of the Moveroons movies are tongue-in-cheek, fear, sarcasm, and ridicule. Like, it's the point. It's to make sarcastic comments, just like Mystery Science Theater 3000, as people have pointed out, or just like, any other, sarcastic cinema sins, for example. I mean, that's just, it's a breakdown. You learn some stuff. We talk about factual stuff, but we also have a good time. Neither of us had any trouble with that movie. We both loved it. It was like the fourth time we'd seen it. So Wombat cannot be here because he is about to go to his karate class. So just so you can see this, you guys can see this. Wombat will have to see this later. Now I don't know how to get it off the screen. Okay, there we are. Okay, cool. Hold on. All right, back to the questions from you guys. I always like the chat here, but I don't keep up with it. That's the problem. Only correct answer to any aviation question is it depends. That is true. Watched a video yesterday on the T-38 crash at Montgomery, and I saw that too. I'm not going to break it down because I think we've already done the AIB, and that's enough. It really hurts to watch, but is very, very, very sad indeed. As a pilot in the Air Force, who was your hero? I mean, I've had a lot of good mentors in my career, and they've all been my heroes. I mean, T-Bear is one of them. I mean, dude's a badass in combat. A lot of the people that I've interviewed have become my heroes. Organ, for example. I mean, Tomcat guy flew in Top Gun, not Top Gun Maverick. But flying a jet is so it's really not. The tactics are what's complicated. The flying part, not so much. How long can you pull 9Gs for? Now? Not very long. Back in the day, in my 20s when I was doing it all the time, I 30 seconds, maybe 45. What's the longest you've held 9Gs? I don't know. Who keeps track of something like that? What do you think about the Su-57 entering stealth mode and successfully eliminating Ukrainian? I don't trust anything coming out of that theater. Like, people saying, "Oh, it entered." Like, I don't think we're getting any of the correct information, so there's nothing to comment. What if a fighter pilot poops in a jet? Well, they're going to have to clean it up, and their crew chief's going to be pissed. The end. Thoughts on joining the Navy after 30? Doable. A lot of people have done it. More difficult. It's, not difficult in the sense, well, yeah, you're less competitive. That's one. But two, I think, when you get into your 30s, your BS meter, your BS tolerance gets a lot lower. So you have to realize you're at the bottom of the totem pole and you're doing lieutenant things. And, it's tough when you're in your early 20s, but I think it would be even tougher when you're in your 30s and you've got some life experience and you're like, I'm too old for this. I think that kind of plays into it as well. Double cheeseburgers make me G-Lock. Okay, cool. I don't know anything about this. Is where Wombat would have been. I would say I don't know, to be honest. Isn't the forum, was it Air Warriors? I would go to that Navy-centric forum and go see if they've got any study guides for it. It's different for everybody. I'm 6'5". Yeah, but not only the onset rate is different when you're flying acrobatic or aerobatics, not acrobatics, but I would say also how long you can sustain it. Flying 9Gs in a Viper is not the same as flying 9Gs in an Extra. They're just not. What's the hardest part of flight training? Is it IFR flight training, which is instrument flight rules? I've been doing flight training to get an edge in military flight school with CAP. You're not going to get an edge. That's what we're talking about before. Just do it to better yourself, but don't do it thinking you're going to get an edge, because everybody struggles. So Gonki's talked about this. It's the great equalizer, right? You see the people that show up with a lot of flight time and then they get there and then they do really well on like contact and then instruments. But then when you get to formation, they start to struggle, or you get to low levels or whatever. So everybody's different. You just have to show up with a good attitude and a willingness to learn. And sometimes people that have a lot of experience struggle more because they have bad habits. Because remember, the military way is not the same as the civilian way. Our rules are different. So, can we start ruining cop movies? Yeah, I thought about that. There was this movie I watched the other day called, I think it's In the Line of Duty, with the dude who played Harvey Dent. Can he be trusted? Probably the worst cop movie I've ever seen. And that's saying something. I graduate in 2024. When do you think I should take it? Take it. I mean, take it now. I mean, I don't know how long they're good for, but I mean, now, next year, I think you'd be fine. Mover car videos, please. Yes. Yes. If you think Russia is, and see, this is why we don't talk about that, because people get stupid in the comments and think that everything is a commentary about everything. So, no. I saw something you're talking about. It's not a ripoff for Fights On. It's a Jet One Cup. And I actually had talked to the owner, and because they had talked to me about possibly going and flying for him. It is not the same. In fact, I really still don't actually understand what it is. I know it's kind of a race with some dogfighting, but there's a gamer in the ground that's shooting for you. Not 100% sure on the concept. I even read the rule books, and I'm still not 100% sure on the concept. They were going to start in October, but I think that's been pushed to the fall or spring of next year. But I decided not to do it, just based on how much time they needed from me to do it. But it seems interesting, but it's not the same as Fights On. Fights On was just going to be dogfighting. There wasn't any, pit stops or racing or any of that stuff. It was just mano a mano. You take somebody that's not used to dogfighting, you throw them in the back, and then you dogfight. But Hiram, thank you. How long have HUDs and fighter jets had a voice saying bingo? Oh, I don't know. I mean, a lot of jets have that. I don't know how long. I mean, at least since the F-16's been around. 38 years old. It's too late for me to start flying helicopters for a living? Nope. Now, is it too late? No, but I would really consider whether you can make a living flying helicopters, because even the good jobs that require, 700-800 hours of helicopter time don't pay that well. It is a very underpaid industry. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people are jumping from helicopters to go fly for the airlines, especially the regionals, now that they're paying so much. For the techniques of pulling G's, I'm not quite sure how to ask it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we have. You guys want to see it again? Yeah, it's got the patch that he's a Mustang driver. It's got his E2. It's got his book, Trees in Flight, which you guys should go buy. It's got his little wings, his Mustang, and his Hornet, and then it looks like he's taking a leak over his T over here. So that's real nice. So yeah, it's a very, very good good thing made by Nathan. He did a good job on it. That's how far behind I am on the thing. Full Maverick video. You'll get it. 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, what? That's it. It's just the copyright thing. It takes a while. It's 7 days per video. So that's why it takes a little bit. Any more video interviews in the pipe? I'm working on some of the getting a live get together with some of the dudes that were part of the filming of Top Gun. That's the next thing. How intense are the medical tests? I mean, they're thorough. I wouldn't say it's intense. I mean, if you're young and in good health, you should be good to go. I agree. Organ is the man, the myth, and the legend. He is everything I'd hope being. Why is this thing having trouble focusing? I'd hope being a fighter pilot would be like the 80s. I mean, he embodies fly all the cool jets, do all the cool stuff. I mean, that's what being a fighter pilot was all about. Non-U.S. military jets? Yeah, man. Any of the flankers, MiG-29, the Gripen, all that stuff. Let's see here. BS meter goes to 0 in your 40s. Yeah. Yeah. Your 30s. I don't know now because, a 20-year-old's like a teenager and a 30-year-old's like a 20-year-old because just how we think now. I don't feel like I'm pushing 40. But yeah, your BS meter goes way, way, way down. Are you ready to fly the 787 to Spain and meet hot chicks on the beach? Yeah, they always promise that, but that's never true. Like I watched Catch Me If You Can, and that never was when I flew domestic. Yeah, Jet One come. Mover ruins live. I don't think I ruined this one yet. I have no thoughts. Do it. That's it. 24, 25, you're young. Why do people 24, 25 think they're old? You're super young. Opinion on the F-14? Me? Oh, I have no opinions on the F-14. No DCS motion sickness in VR. I felt tumbled in the 737 motion sim one time, but DCS usually not. Pete Mitchell is not my hero. Mach 10 is stupid. Harvey Dent, can he be trusted? Into the Sun, 1992. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. Have you thought about updating the Corvette? No, I will. I mean, I'm not saying never, but I'm saying never. It's a C701, man. There is no C8 on the planet that would be worth trading in for. Now, adding, maybe, eventually, in a different financial situation. But getting rid of the C7 for a ZR1 for anything, even the Z06, I mean, it's the last of, manual transmission, front mid-engine, because it is mid-engines behind the wheel, front wheels, but it would be tough to get rid of that, man. Yes, the Gripen's awesome. Yeah, that's part 6. So there you go. If you do cop movies, I would help you do prison movies. Okay, thank you. Why are flight helmets not camouflage? If you eject in a war zone, wouldn't having a colorful helmet be a disadvantage? That's a good question. I think it's more, over water, it's reflective so they can find you because like Navy and stuff. In the Air Force, when I went to combat, we didn't have taped up helmets. So I don't know what the rules are for that. Holy smokes. Hey, Mover and everyone. I did get a bunch of emails. I'm not going to go through them. About the... Oh, wait, hold on. I like this one. I sent you a letter yesterday, but I noticed after I sent it that you like Mass Effect. Yes. My favorite game. I could see you as Shepard, Gonki as Caden, although I think James is a better fit, but he's only in the last game. And Wombat as Garrus. Sorry, Wombat. He's not pretty, but he's a good, solid friend in there to the end. Can't wait for the next one. Crazy old lady. Mass Effect is my favorite game. I'm Mover, and Mass Effect is my favorite game on the Citadel. I mean, it is just such a good game. It really is. The ending, the Legendary Edition fixes a lot of stuff, but I'm so excited for Mass Effect 4/5 because Andromeda was 4, but that game kind of sucked. But 4 is supposed to be like the next sequel to 3. But I would love to be a part of the Mass Effect stuff because I think it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. If not, I think it is. I think it's my favorite. I'm going to say that now. It's my favorite. Let's see here. Love the star over the O. Don't know what that means. Okay. If you could pick a military aircraft for personal use, what would you pick? A Hornet. Those are cross-country machines. I'd definitely get a Hornet. A lot of room, all kind of stuff. You need to put the poop chair in that slide. That's a good point. He's got a ready room chair. 270 combat hours. Yeah, that is a significant amount. Mover, have you heard of Top Aces? Yes, I have. I think it's awesome. If you had to drive cross country, Corvette or Hellcat Red Eye, which Hellcat? I mean, there's like a Corvette is. I mean, am I bringing the dogs? These are all questions I have. Going to UPT for Hilo soon. Do you think dishing out money for a few flight hours in a helicopter would help me much in the long run? If you're already going, probably not. Save your money, study the boldface. They'll teach you everything you need to know. Yeah. So, hey, Fred, my plan, I don't know what you guys think of this. My plan is to take and do mean tweets because I've been saving some of the like more douchey comments and just read them in the saddest voice possible, which I'm sure will trigger people, the fact that I'm reading the negative comments. But somebody had a thought that maybe a lot of these aren't even real people, that it's just, Fiverr people that were paid to comment, because some of them, the comments don't even make sense. But yeah, there's been some interesting comments on those videos. In fact, Top Gun Maverick, the dogfighting one, which is part 3, is my lowest ranked video I've done, except for the chemtrail one. The chemtrail one had a lower rank because all those nut jobs, but the Top Gun Maverick, as far as, usually I hover around 98% likes. This one's like 92, which is the lowest, ever. Now, granted, wildly popular video, but still. Oh, let's see here. I thoroughly enjoyed your Instagram. Yes, I posted those on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at CW Lemoyne. Same thing with Twitter. On Twitter, I thought about posting. So I was bored the other day and I did a mover cut because somebody mentioned it in the comments. I actually recut Top Gun Maverick and fixed it. And I think it's awesome. Maybe one day on Twitter, I'll say what I moved, but just move stuff around and deleted a whole bunch of stuff. How do fighter pilots feel about civilians calling them by their call sign? That's fine. People call me mover all the time. Ever lose a pin cap? No, because they're clicky pins. I've lost a pin, though. And then somebody found it. In your 60s, there is no meter level MBS. Yep, I aspire. I heard you like. I've never flown the Airbus, but having jump seated, I think I would like it better than the 737. It's not Boeing. It's the 737. I am not a fan of that aircraft at all. Okay, there you go. H-23. So everything I say is usually geared toward the U.S. I don't know anything about foreign militaries. I'm sorry. It's not my expertise. Do you have an opinion on the F-35? It's a very capable aircraft. It's not very sexy. It's not a documentary. God, that's one of the, like, I think people just don't get it. Like, they look at this and they get so mad that, it's not directly in line with their worldview. And then they like, it's not a documentary. Don't ever make a movie. It's like, dude, come on, man. Come on, really. I can't agree more with the BS meter when getting close to 30s. 29 now. I've been flying for years now. No, I would stand things I would accept a 20. And that is a big thing to consider. I'm serious. I'm not taking this lightly. I started, how old was I? 23 when I was at OTS. That's a different world than when you're 30 and 31. When I was 30, I just moved to the Navy. My BS meter was a lot lower then. Now, granted, I'd flown 1,000 hours in the F-16 by then, but I don't know. Oh, you will. This has been a year, man. End of Watch, I've heard that's good. And not only is End of Watch good, I watched Southland. And other than the last couple episodes, which I thought were a little silly, that was a really good and realistic looking series. Like, they did a really good job. I'm still on a leave of absence as an airline pilot. No, I'm not. Nothing with the Air Force is even close to being done. So can't talk about it. unfortunately. Thank you, Sheldon. I like your show, Young Sheldon. I've been enjoying that lately. Yes, there are audiobook readings. Now, disclaimer, the guy who did the first couple, not the best, but it's still entertaining. What do you think about the halt? I don't know, man. That's a specific question that's outside of my wheelhouse. Does Mover read our messages here too? Yes, but I'm very slow. Like I get off track, and then people say I look like I'm mad or whatever. And no win here. I wouldn't give up the 01 for anything currently offered by GM. There's probably no other Corvette short of the C1 to C3s that has more. It's not about collecting. In fact, I'm still thinking about taking it to the track next month. It's just, the car's got my name on it. It's got my name on it. I know you can get that at any museum delivery, but it means a lot to me, and it's the last of a. It actually represents, because 2019 was the last year things even made sense anymore. So, 2019. If I don't get my BA until age 31, 22, it's too late to fly fighter jets. You're right there, right on the cusp. Not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying you're going to have to hustle. So, but you got to make them tell you no. Go apply to units. Guard, reserve. That's all. Do I remember my drop night? Boy, am I that old. I remember not caring a whole lot because I already knew where I was going. So I don't remember any shenanigans. Didn't seem like it was. Was there anything about your time flying the Hornet you liked over the Viper? Yes. BFM was more fun. I enjoyed it a lot more, partly because it just didn't hurt as much. 9Gs is hard on your body. And the Hornet, you were high alpha, high angle of attack. You didn't pull a lot of Gs. You could still do some really cool things with the jets and end up in weird positions. The cockpit had a lot of room. It had a lot of it had auto throttle. It had, autopilot that could couple stuff. I mean, it was not couple approaches, but couple, waypoints. So creature comforts, it was a lot better. If I had to go to war, I'd still pick the Viper just because it's my first, I know the F-16 and I know how to employ the F-16, but I did like a lot of things about the Hornet in general. And some of my most fun cross countries were in the Hornet. Do you ever get any flack for ruining the red flag movie? No, I haven't heard anything. Liara. Couldn't do the thing with the mask. I just couldn't. Ashley, Liara, Miranda. That was the three from the 3 games. Oh, and the assistant. Male shepherd. Can't do the female shepherd thing. Just weird. I'm not trans shepherd. Are fighter pilot helmets bland like Top Gun Maverick? No, they have. Well, they're not as you don't have your call sign on your forehead. Not that I know of. But I mean, my helmet at the River Rattlers had a snake on it, and the River Rattler logo, and it said "Mover" on the back. Yes. And if you're hiring for that job, I'll take it right now. Huge Mass Effect fan too. I mean, isn't it though? They need to hire me for one of the characters. I could have a cameo. Mover being Shepard with Wombat, continue to calibrate weapon systems next to the chair. Out of curiosity, would you ever consider getting a fully augmented cockpit like DCS? Would I? I mean, it's about room. I don't have a lot of room. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, I've messed with a little bit. All right, so Andromeda, when it came out, I played it. I liked it. Didn't really understand the story in the whole Galaxy thing. Okay. I just finished Legendary Edition, which I loved. And then I was like, oh, let me roll right into Andromeda. And then I hated it. I didn't finish it. That's so, if you're missing Mass Effect and you haven't done it in a while, and this is a super nerdy conversation here, but if you're missing it for a while, yes, 100%. It was playable. But on the second playthrough, having just played Legendary Edition, it's tedious. It's just tedious. Metal Gear Solid's another good one too, although I haven't played since the PS3. I don't know if has there been one since the PS3. I have a PS4 now. I don't know. Here we go. The Gripen versus the F-18 and ACM. What's your take? I think the Gripen would probably. I mean, it's going to come down to the pilot, but the Gripen is not. I mean, it's stout. It's got a lot of power, pulls 9Gs. I mean, it'd be tough. Anybody? I mean, no. For the meetup, I'd recommend hosting a fly-in or car show. What I think would be cool is a meetup at the track, like a track day, like renting the track. But man, people don't show up to in-person stuff. Oh, cool. Thank you. Interesting. Scariest moment in a fighter jet? I mean, I thought, that lightning strike story, I thought I was going to watch him die. And that was pretty hair-raising. But for me personally, I've talked about this before, but, the T-38 and getting spatially disoriented in an aircraft where you can't trust the instruments in the weather was probably one of the most heart-pounding, anxiety-inducing moments for me. The best moment I've had in aviation, flying over my house and my dad seeing it. I was VFR coming back from the range and my dad was outside and, passed by and he got to see it. And I think that was one of the coolest things because, he was my hero, and being able to fly in an F-18 and have him see that, one of the coolest moments. For the sequel, well, no, see, because Andromeda is 4. So is it 4 or is it 5? I don't know. Because they're all called Mass Effect. So don't be a smartass if you don't know the answer. Make them tell you no. It might be. Snoop Dogg Dizzle for shizzle. Bold faces life. Yep. Mean tweets. Is that how far behind I am right now? CC here. Give an update on your writing. Okay. Let's see. I'm in the middle of writing chapter 12. 25 or 26,000 words so far in a science fiction book. That I'll tell you this: the two main characters are, one is a fighter pilot and one is a cop. Surprise! What do you think I should do if I want to fly jets, but my country doesn't have any? That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I don't know. You're probably gonna have to buy a jet. Oh God. If given the chance and the Concorde flew again, sure, I'd fly anything. You know any guys that have flown against the German MiG-29? Yeah, know quite a few that have. Oh, that's another interview. My old squadron commander, I'm going to do an interview, and he's flown against the MiG-29. He's got a cool book about financial stuff that I think will be very interesting as well. If you had to serve in Air Force outside, oh, not today, FBI. I love America. USA. Go USA, number one. I still like being a cop. I'm still a cop. In fact, I was a cop, what's today? 2 days ago, Tuesday. I love it. So the only way I can make a difference now. Would Top Gun Maverick be a better movie if Pete Mitchell was doing everything to save his dog? Yes. Yes. If it were more like John Wick, yes. Would you like to far Airwolf if it was real? Yes. Didn't we just do that one? Can we send angry comments about angry comments? Sure. If you want to do that, that's fine. Oh, there was another email. I'm ADD here. So I know I thought about doing a video on this, but I'll just make a comment about it because there's really no point in rehashing it, about Schmidt's Messerschmitt's mishap. The F-16 crash at Columbus. There was an Air Force Times article that some of the contractors, there was fake parts. Afterburner Podcast did a video on this, like as soon as it came out. I recommend you go watch it. Rain's a very credible guy. Anything he says, he's pretty sharp. So that's already been covered. I will say that if it's true, and if this is if there were counterfeiting parts, it's unacceptable, because as a pilot, you have to be able to rely on your survival equipment, whether it's the seat whether it's the stuff in the seat kit, whether it's your parachute, your helmet, mask, any of that stuff that's there just to keep you alive. You have to be able to rely on it. And they failed him on so many levels before that seat even fired. It's a very tragic mishap, and I don't want to rehash it again, but it's a very, very crappy situation. Let's see. Did you think Will be a good consultant? Sure. That's fun. Any idea when New Orleans will get? I think they already have them or are getting them soon. In case you're wondering, $1 chili cheese conies. My watch has just informed me. So in case you guys wanted to go to Sonic. Rumor is that you're currently dating Gonki's younger sister. I don't think Gonki has a sister. Really want to see the Top Gun Maverick mover cut. If they would give me some deleted scenes, I could make it even better. But I moved for sure. I'll tell you this. The Dark Star thing is at the end. It's not the beginning. And it works so much better. So much better. No, I think it looks like a penguin. Let's see. Time for Mover ruins Mass Effect. Mass Effect? How would I ruin that? It's awesome. I'm making all the right choices. I saved everybody. I'm 70 and Maverick. No, you don't say. Man, oh man, blue streak. Yeah, is that the one where he's fighting off the bee, and it looks like the guy's beating him, and that becomes news. That was prophetic. What is the other YouTube channel? Life with Mover. I'm waiting for the helicopter to be fixed. So I still want to fly helicopters, but yeah. So part 4 is tomorrow. I've answered that. I have not tried the R-44, although I did download one that is literally the helicopter with me and Lester. I wish they could figure out a way to put his giant helmet in the right seat, left seat. I have told the story of how I've got my call sign. Have you ever gotten close to getting a new call sign? Probably. Yeah, I've done some stupid things. If you didn't fly a fighter, helicopters. For sure, helicopters. Is your Wikipedia page a better read with the trim down? I didn't do the Wikipedia page. So I don't know anything about it. Mover mailbag at cwlemoyne.com. Let's see. Do I have that here? Yep, right there. Bam. That's how you send stuff. Liara and not Rex. Rex was my homie. He was my ride or die, but you're talking romantic relationships? No, I mean, you got to keep it real. You should apply to the top aces. How long does it take? Like an afternoon? You know, you go to aerospace physiology, they teach you how to do it, and then they make sure you can do it right. It's not a big thing. While in Bozeman, we saw, I think you're talking MiG-29, right? Because that's Jared Isaacman's. Would you normally ever go full burner on takeoff? All the time. Shh. That's the standard takeoff, of course. Did you ever drag race the C7? No. Mass Effect 2, mixed feelings about that. Mass Effect 1 is perfect, especially the end, like when you're with the Prothean stuff. Mass Effect 3, yeah, 2's pretty good. Never played Fallout. I would say the same thing about a check ride for advice. Don't dwell on mistakes and don't grade yourself. They'll tell you that. Don't grade yourself. If you screw up, unless they make you do it again, and even if they do, don't dwell on it. They say, hey, can we see that again? Do it again. But I wouldn't don't grade yourself in the air, because that's how you make more mistakes, and that's how you get inside your own head. Just relax. By the time you get there, you know the material. Somebody obviously signed you off flying wise. You should be fine. Yeah, New Orleans is a third world country, and no, thankfully not yet. Although in some areas it has, but man, oh man, New Orleans is no. What do you think of the tornado? The tornado or the tornado? Coming to DCS. That's good. Wrong. And in fact, see, one of the mean tweets was some guy saying you're only an ex-reservist, which I thought was the stupidest thing. And in fact, of all the things, people saying I'm annoying or whatever, that one's the one that probably irked me the most because it's such an army. It was either an army guy saying it or just a dumb civilian that doesn't understand that reserve and guard fighter pilots are probably the most experienced in the world. We fly just as much as like a full-time AGR or an ART, a technician, flies just as much, if not more, than their active duty counterparts. I flew more than my active duty buddies when I was a reservist full-time for 8 years. I had more hours in the F-16 in a shorter amount of time than any of my classmates because I was flying more, I was doing cool stuff. It is the difference between the two is you don't move, you don't PCS, you don't, get reassigned. But as far as ops tempo goes, you're still deploying, you're still doing everything in active duty squadron. Now you don't have to deploy as long. That's a nice thing, depending on if the unit goes with another unit or whatever. But this myth that reserves don't go to combat, reserves don't do as much as their active duty counterpart is nonsense. That's an Army thing. I don't even know if that's an Army thing true, but I know that active duty Army looks down on reserves and says, oh, he's just reserve, but that's bullshit. No. I have not. Never heard. That is pig. I'll have to get pig here. It is not common to eject. That's a Class C mishap. You lose the aircraft. It's not common, thankfully. Out of curiosity, how do the airlines rate the hours, the F-16 or F-18 towards time building over there? Do the hours more value for being multi-engine? Multi-engine time helps, but your hours are based off of a they'll give you a correction factor for military time, so it comes out. What is a little? Is there a connection problem or something? Is that what we're having here? I am just scrolling through here. Check your text. Text? Okay. What's Bloke say? Bloke says he would show up at his track date with his Lamborghini. Okay. Cool. Fight's on. That was some CIA agent accent. Yeah. I always like close air support. Especially when you're working with actual JTACs. I thought that was always a fun mission. But, BFM's fun. Whatever. Yeah, I'm the ghost. That's Gonky, actually. Any tips with recruiters? Well, don't go to an enlisted recruiter. Make sure you go to an officer accessions recruiters. But you really shouldn't. A recruiter should be the last step. Pilot contract is more of a Marine thing anyway. Helos. Helos would be cool. Who is Aqua? But finally, somebody loves me. That's nice. That feels good. 2022 YouTube comments. My movie knowledge. I don't. I did play LA Noire. I really like that game too. Su-30 versus Viper would be an interesting one. Gonky's got a video on the Ready Room. If you go check his channel out, of him fighting Su-30 with a F-18. Corvette's awesome. Drove it today. If you can own any single seat aircraft. Oh, Viper, man. I'd own a Viper all day. Can you talk about writing and how you do thinking process and character development? So I don't really have a process. Like I get a story idea in my head and then I just start writing and then I come up with characters. And then I always say that the characters write the story. If you're in that, Zen or whatever, it just starts to happen. Like, I don't know. Would you have loved to have flown the Raptor? Yes. Yes. Some deleted scenes so you could delete. No, I'd probably move those into the places where I got rid of a bunch of stuff. Is what a recorded video? Have I ever flown over the Caribbean? Yes. That's what I used to do. I was Miami based, flying a lot of Caribbean stuff. Reapers emerge to destroy the world. Mover Shepherd be like, cool story, bro. Fox 3. Well, that's kind of how it ended. Yes, I fly helicopters sometimes. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to fly warbirds, but I don't know, like, I don't have any connections to fly warbirds. Yeah, go play Mass Effect. Get the Legendary Edition, though. Go get the Legendary Edition. You don't have to. Like, there's an actual tour company that's like, hey, you want to fly? And so I was like, oh, interesting. That's an interesting idea. Part-time, not full-time. All right. We got to come up with a rule. You can't ask the same question more than once. I'm just slow. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just I'm slow. Yeah, Mace is awesome. And she just got picked up for a book, which I think is amazing. So check out her Instagram and all that stuff. It's awesome. My voice. Uh-oh. I guess we did have some connection problems at some point. Mass Effect is one of the best sci-fi stories ever. Would love to develop in a movie, but I fear they would screw. I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, I've applied to a bunch of companies. I have not talked to Splint. Well, every now and then I talk to Splint. I love it. Luna's on the phone again. Damn it, put the phone down. All right, so we'll get through all these connection things because apparently it's better now. Gonky has taken over Mover's IT department. Poor Gonky. I am familiar with Splinter Cell. Really like that one too. Gonky must have connected his dial-up to Mover's house. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. I'd love it. Oh, we've been doing this for an hour. That's probably why. So far, I'm undefeated against Gonky, so just saying. Although we were a draw on our Finney flight, so. Favorite moment while flying Red Air, killing a Raptor with a T-38. I mean, I think that was probably one of the highlights. The Apache, for sure. Could Mover fly Penny in an F-18 if trained for F-14 airframe? Oh, Maverick. Sorry. I see an M. I think of me. That's a big of a narcissist, apparently I am. Well, he transitioned to the F-18, so that makes logical sense. Although the flying Penny would probably get him in jail. I'd fly fighters, 1,000% fighters. If I want to fly a crew aircraft, I'll just go back to the airline. Where do I see myself? Is this a job interview? Let's see. Making movies, flying fighters, flying the 787, flying helicopters, writing books. Margot Robbie. You guys. Geez. Mass Effect Talks convinced me to try again. Legendary Edition. That's all I'm saying. Yes, we did the whole movie. DCS events planned? No, not at the moment. I don't. The thing about Halo is I don't like first-person games. I like third-person, so that's why it's tough for me. I got the huge 107-inch projector screen, 106.9, and it gets me motion sick if I play first-person shooters. Not motion sick, but I feel like crap after playing for a while. Here we go. Where or who or where I find a school to train me to fly? I'm not in the military. I'm 37-year-old female. I know Air Force takes people until 39, but obviously not me. So you're going to have to just Google it. Just find a school. I recommend, personally, find somebody that owns a Cessna and a private instructor that's not affiliated with a school, because sometimes I think the quality is a little better. It's hit or miss. Could go either way, but my experience has been it's better when it's not like a puppy mill school. When it's just like, you know, Joe Blow, the FBO owns the airplane, you rent the airplane, and then you've got a CFI that's kind of old school and, you know, just doing it for funsies. Jessica Biel all day long. No question. Not even a little bit of a question. Yeah, same answer. I have not. That is not a very common thing. I've been to combat, but not air-to-air combat, air support combat. I'm not even want to be a fighter pilot. I'd become one in Canada. I don't know, but see, why is the internet doing the thing? I'm sorry, the internet is potato. I don't know. This is a thing with StreamYard is the problem. It's not my 400 meg internet connection, I can promise you. Hope not, anyway. Thanks for your movies. Get a beer, I'm buying. Oh, thanks, Bjorn. Yeah, lag is back. Uh-oh. Huh. I don't know why. Seems that we're doing well, but it's probably a good time to end this anyway. So, when you guys hear this, it's too late. But I will say goodbye, good night. Thanks for watching. Check out the thing tomorrow, because that'll be a thing. And Maverick, and then next week, and then more cool stuff. So, see you guys later. Good day. I said good day.